What's up, everybody? It's John and Troy with the Paranormal Task Force, and we're back with another episode of Task Force Talks, our podcast. And joining us today are all the haunted dolls, and they're already being active.
First special guest.
Yes. Special guests, the live dolls.
So the K2 meter is still acting up. Oh,
yeah. Right before we went live, Vox said, "I'll touch you." And then Anna's necklace went off and Teddy's necklace went off right after the bell went off. So they're, yeah, it might be an interesting podcast.
We'll see if they keep it up on camera.
Before we get too in depth, I'm going to light some sage for them.
Anyway, while he's doing that, we've been... Man, what have we been doing? I feel like we've just been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't really done... I think we had a slew of mail days for a little while in like May. And then it's just been a lot of busy work since then.
Yeah, we've been staying busy.
Don't we always?
Yeah.
Living the dream. Thought you said you were lighting sage. That looks like incense to me.
Well, it's sage and Palo Santos incense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sage and Palo Santo.
Me, I'm a sandalwood guy, but
well, sage and Palo Santo are good for the spirits.
Well, who's to say they don't like sandalwood? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, who knows? So yeah, today's going to be a little different. Today we're just kind of going to discuss various topics, I guess, things that we've been doing, maybe talk about some upcoming things, as well as see if the dolls decide they want to interact live.
Yep.
So I do have Vox running. I don't know if you can hear that.
Kind of.
And then I do have all the equipment is on, and the dolls. So far, I mean, before we went live, they were getting kind of active.
Yeah, but they tend to peter out once we're actually live on camera.
Yeah.
They're fickle.
Well, we'll see. But we'll hang out for a few minutes and wait until we get some people in here. And then we'll start discussing some stuff. Make sure everybody's good. The K2 has kind of died down a little too.
Compared to how it used to be, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. All right, guys, we are live. So if you guys want to interact with any of the devices and show people that you're here with us, feel free to do that.
Have you had any interesting happenings in the house since the last time?
No. And there's the bell again. I don't even know if we've talked about the interesting happenings that have occurred in the house.
Well, we talked about the footprints last time we were live.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, the night after that, I did have a shadow figure walking out of my bedroom. Like I caught.
No regrets about getting the dolls yet, I take it.
What's that?
No regrets with the dolls yet?
No. Nothing like crazy has happened. But yeah, the following night after the little girl, I did have a back of a what looked like the back of a person walking out of my room, but I don't know what it was, um, or who it was. So, but yeah, as we get some people in here, so let's I don't know, we'll wait a few more minutes. We'll let some people jump in. And today, guys, we're just discussing various paranormal topics. We're going to discuss some things that have happened since the dolls have been in the studio. We'll discuss, well, there's the bell. Somebody liked that topic. Um, hey, Nano, what's going on? Um, we'll discuss what happened to you at Locke.
Oh, lovely.
That'll be a good topic to cover. And yeah, we'll just discuss a few things, maybe some upcoming things. There's some really good stuff coming up for us this year. We just got confirmation that we have a location in September that has not been investigated by any other teams. So that'll be interesting. And we can actually discuss that location because we're not trying to keep that one secret.
Yeah, no, that one it's the you remember the name of the USS Lucid?
Yeah. So, we got a few people joining. So anyway, guys, again, thank you for joining us for another episode of Task Force Talks. In this episode, we're just going to discuss a bunch of different topics and kind of give you guys a heads up with what we've been up to, what's been going on, future things to come, things like that. So let's start off with, so those of you that aren't familiar, we investigated the town of Locke, and there's the bell. They're starting to pick up, I think. But there's the bell again. Can you hear the bell when it goes off?
A little bit. It's
Okay.
not super clear, but the K2 was going off just a little bit.
Right. So we investigated the town of Locke. That was just a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
What, maybe 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. And if you're not familiar with the town of Locke, those episodes haven't dropped yet. We'll be dropping them soon. I think we're shooting for the first episode next week.
I think so, yeah.
But the town of Locke is a small town that was built by Chinese immigrants, and the town was ran by what did they call them? The Tong, the Chinese mafia. So there's a lot of gambling houses and brothels and opium dens and all that. And we had some interesting activity and
quite a bit of it.
Yeah, quite a lot of activity. But then Troy actually had a physical attack in the Diloy building.
Mm-hmm.
So
the old gambling hall.
Yeah, it was the old gambling hall and opium den, because the opium den and brothel were upstairs, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Do you want to touch on that and explain what that attack felt like how it started, what happened?
Yeah, sure. For anyone who hasn't seen the short yet, it's on our YouTube. Go check it out. I think it's on Instagram and TikTok too. But
yeah,
I don't know. The Dialoy itself just really felt like a place where something didn't want us there, and I think that was pretty apparent. We were investigating with husband and wife team, Cherie and Rick. They go by Lingering Souls Paranormal. Go check them out too. Shouts out.
And real quick, thank you to those two, Cherie and Rick. They're the ones that got us into this location, and then they investigated with us. Great team, and we will be doing some things in the future, which We'll actually be talking about that as well on this episode, but go ahead.
So Cherie and I went to go to what was the old money counting room, more or less, where they would keep the money. And that room itself just felt very oppressive. And once I crossed the threshold over to the room, I started getting like pain right above my stomach, kind of.
Was it like a
And
stabbing pain or?
I don't know, it's hard to describe because it's not like a pain that you could get normally.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of more like almost as if someone was like reaching in and like grabbing things inside of me, you know,
Yeah.
without cutting me open. And then we left the count room and I went back and I was like, well, just give me a minute, I'll be fine. And it started to kind of just keep working its way like around the side. At one point, it felt like someone was like reaching in and grabbing my ribs. So that wasn't exactly fun. And then, no, go ahead.
so you wanted to take a minute, but then you decided to remove yourself from the building.
Right.
And what took place after that?
Was that the bell?
That was the bell.
Yeah. Well, so I stepped outside with Cherie and Rick, and we like I thought, okay, as soon as I cross the threshold of the door, I'll feel fine, right? What was weird, wasn't right when we went outside. The way Locke is set up is basically there's kind of like one little main street and all the buildings on either side of it. We actually had to walk into the street before I was like, okay, I'm feeling better, you know?
So you actually had to get away from the building itself.
Right. The building itself was messed up.
Yeah.
But we went outside. Cherie and I did some little cheese stuff, like do. What?
The bell again.
Oh, I didn't hear it that time. And that was about the extent of it. As you know, I went back inside and didn't.
Some weird stuff coming through Vox right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Hey, do you have a spirit necklace on the unnamed doll in the cabinet?
Yes.
Is it on?
It is.
Okay, I thought so.
That could be who's ringing the bell too. Let me reset her necklace. This is like the 5th time I've reset
just turned it off. Oh wait, no,
it's on. No, it's on.
No, it's on now, but like it went off.
Yeah, let me reset it. I've reset it like 5 times. Don't hurt me.
He always says that when he interacts with that doll.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So,
anybody else before I get comfortable again? Leon, you can play with that ball next to you. You were doing that yesterday. So yeah, the weird thing is now when you guys, well, because when you went out, Cherie and Rick went out with you. She was going to help you clear off whatever was attacking you. And I instructed Chris to go out there with you.
Right.
Because, I felt that needed to be documented.
And here I was thinking you sent Uncle Chris because you were concerned about my condition. You just wanted the footage.
Yes, but we also needed to document what was happening, right? That's what we do. So
I didn't catch that.
I didn't understand what it said, but it was a whole sentence. But anyway, I knew it needed to be documented, so I sent Chris out with you. And at the time, I wasn't thinking, wait a minute, that means I'm going to be left alone in the dialoy. And while you guys were outside, things really started ramping up. I was hearing footsteps upstairs. I had and it's, you can hear it in the short if you listen closely. There's a screech. I described it as a growl, but it was more of a screech that happened right to my left, like where the stairway was. And you know, I started yelling for Chris. I'm trying to get somebody to come back in because I couldn't move. Like I was sitting on that bench and I felt like I was stuck there, like I couldn't move. Meanwhile, all this stuff is going around, you know, going on around me. I mean, the devices were going off. I'm hearing sounds and footsteps upstairs. I'm hearing screeches, bangs. It was wild what was happening while you guys were outside. And so I'm yelling for Chris. Apparently none of you guys could hear me outside.
Yeah, no.
And I'm just sitting there like paralyzed and could not move. And that lasted a good 10 minutes, because you guys were outside for a while.
Right.
And for like 10 minutes I could not move off that bench. And then finally something snapped out. No, I snapped out of it or whatever. I got up, grabbed the flashlight, and headed for the door.
Yeah, and you
And-
came
and-
outside and you looked like you'd seen a ghost.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. And then we all ended up going back in and finishing the investigation. But
Even after that, we still got some pretty good evidence too.
yeah, there was still some really good stuff that came after that. But yeah, that was
Locke was definitely a pleasant surprise. Just
yeah,
on
that
account of pretty much all the spots we got to visit had something good.
well, you know, and I didn't know what to expect out of that location. And it actually turned out to be a really, really good location, actually. And I think it's a location that we will visit again. Just because it was that good. Even if we went back and just did the Dialoy, the old gambling hall, I think that alone would be worth it.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, so Locke, keep an eye out for those episodes. Like I said, the first episode should be dropping. I believe we're shooting for next week. We've been so busy. We're still working on what we're going to drop for tomorrow or for Saturday, this Saturday.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be one of the smaller investigations we did just for one episode, and then we'll move on to Locke. But yeah, so Locke was really good. For those of you that don't know, the Haunted Dolls have been going live. Yep, there we go. Every time I mention the Haunted Dolls, the bell goes off. They've been live periodically on the channel. Just been trying to bring you guys, you know, whatever content we can. The dolls, sometimes they're active, sometimes they're quiet, but that's how it goes. Like, I put them live and we just see what happens. Today they're joining us for the podcast. And I did turn on the equipment just to see if they do anything while we're live today. But let's see, what do we got coming up in the future? So September, we've got
the
USS Lucid, which is another location that Cherie and Rick have set up for us. And again, there's really no videos about this ship on YouTube.
You said it was an old minesweeper, right?
Yeah, it's actually a wooden ship. It's an old wooden minesweeper. I believe what I read about it is that it served in the Korea and Vietnam Wars. I don't know too much of the history past that. Now, I do know that Cherie and Rick are the only other people that have been on there to do an investigation, and that's the one where things went really crazy for her. Remember that video where
The laughing video?
Yes, that happened on the Lucid. So that should be an interesting investigation. That's coming up in September. Well, that's when we're going to conduct it. When it'll be released, I don't know yet. Then when we go to do that, I think there's a couple more locations that they're trying to get us into. So we'll have probably 2 or 3 locations that we're doing in September. In October, we have 3 locations locked down for October that we'll discuss and name these locations when it gets closer, but these locations are probably some of the I don't want to say scariest, but yeah, I don't know what to say about them.
I think that we can conclude that they'll probably be some of the most haunted places we visited so far.
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah.
knock on any of the haunted places we've been to, but
Yeah, they're definitely I don't know. I guess I could say they're probably some of the most worrisome locations we've been to.
yeah, I think that's a fairly accurate assessment.
And now so I got attacked at the prison. You got attacked at Locke. So I don't know what we're gonna do if we both get attacked at these locations.
Get out the door.
If we can. But yeah,
This is
these
why we take
locations,
precautions, ample
yeah,
precautions.
yeah. These locations in October, I think, are going to be phenomenal. We will be going live from all 3. And let's just say one of the locations is going to be our Halloween special because we are in one of the locations on Halloween.
Yep.
So that's all I'll say. Probably the worst location out of the 3.
Probably the worst
Halloween.
location out of everywhere we've been, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we're tackling new things, guys. Let's see what else. What else we got, Troy?
Well, we did 3 other investigations on that string, but that ended in lock. I don't
Yes.
know that we're necessarily going to get in depth about any of those investigations because the videos are going to come out soon anyway. But
Yeah, I mean we can we can discuss them though. I mean that's fine.
well, I think
Actually, one of them we had a guest appearance, and that person is in the chat right now.
yep.
But we did so we did the Patterson House in Hemet, California.
Mm-hmm.
We did the Golden Gate Hotel in Las Vegas, one of the original 10 rooms. And we did we revisited Hotel Apache at Binion's, and we actually did Benny Binion's old office on the 4th floor. It's the only room on the 4th floor. And I don't know, that one was just weird because there wasn't a lot of equipment activity, but there was a lot of personal experiences we had.
Yeah. I think
So,
based on a quick review of the footage before we went back to California, I think the mics did a fairly good job of picking up what we were seeing or hearing
right.
more than anything. But it was definitely odd because normally we get a pretty
Her light's on dim. Leon's light just came on.
yep.
Her light's back on. Leon, is that you? Are you wanting to communicate? We're live. Can you touch that ball next to you?
Did she turn her light back off?
She did. No, it's dim. She's
Okay.
trying to. Yeah, it's just dim. She's trying to turn it back off.
I can see it again now.
There's the bell. Leon, is that you ringing the bell?
Well, this is a step up from where we usually get when the dolls go live.
I know. Leon, if that was you ringing the bell, can you ring it again? Okay. I'm going to just let it be.
So the Hotel Apache investigation, it was, we got so much knocking and weird noises, but so little equipment going off that I don't know, it was a good investigation, but it was just so not what we're used to.
Right.
Because I feel like we usually get equipment.
The one thing I will say is, even though we didn't get a lot of equipment activity, the shadow detector in the bathroom going off the way it did was really crazy, because we've never had that hit.
Right.
And it was like constant, like something was just standing in the bathroom. It was crazy. But
And it's always nice when we get a new piece of equipment going off.
Yeah. But let's see what else. So I know, we talk about this all the time, but me and Troy, we are gonna buckle down and work on the merch store. We just got to fit it in somewhere between all the editing and podcasting and all that. But we are going to get the merch store going. There's the bell. We also need to really buckle down and work on the Patreon. We need to get that up and going. And all these things, guys, are things that are going to help us continue investigating, right? Everything we make off of merch and through the memberships, that's all going to go towards helping pay for investigations, because these places aren't free. We don't just show up and go, oh, we want to investigate. So those will be coming soon, because we definitely need the help to get these locations. But yeah, so outside of that, well, the dolls, since the dolls have been here, well, particularly the doll in the blue dress up there on the top shelf next to the one in the yellow dress. And I just realized, so when we unboxed her, I put her straight up there. I didn't do any welcoming for them, right? Well, the night that we unboxed her and put her on the shelf, I had an apparition of a little girl show up next to my bed. And when I turned my head, the little girl was gone. The bell just rang. And when I looked down, there were footprints in the carpet. Troy, I sent you the picture.
Yep.
So that was odd. And then the very following night, I heard a noise that woke me up. And when I opened my eyes, I saw the back of a person walking out of my room. Thought it was my wife, and turns out it wasn't. She was still in the room. So that doll has been known to cause apparitions and shadow figures and disembodied voices, according to the people that I acquired her from, which she came from the Sally house. So I don't know if that was her causing that phenomenon in my room, but it very well could have been, because none of the other dolls have caused anything like that. So I don't know. K2's starting to hit. Leon, if you want to interact, touch that ball or touch that red light in front of you. Show everybody that you're here. But yeah, other than that, I mean, we've just been staying busy. May was a busy month for us.
Mm-hmm.
With all the investigations and everything else. So June, there's not a whole lot going on for us. So I'm hoping, aside from editing and stuff, we'll be able to squeeze in getting the merch store going. And
I think it'll be easier for us to do, since we don't have a bunch of investigations lined up.
Right. July and August, I do have some traveling going on. And then we go right into September and then October, which is the big one for us because we're going to be gone for like 2 weeks. So that is on top of it being the most dreaded locations we're doing. It's going to be the longest road trip we've done
to go investigate. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll take a haunted doll with us.
Which one?
I don't know yet, but well, you know the locations we're doing, so think about what doll I'm thinking about taking.
I mean, I think I know which one you're thinking about, but I'm thinking differently.
Which one are you thinking?
The one in the big case.
Anna?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we could. I mean, Anna, would you like to go on our road trip with us in October? I mean, we can't take the containment case.
That's the point.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, wait. Look whose light just got brighter.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying hi.
They're warming up slowly,
Yeah.
but
yeah, we could take Anna. You know. I just heard a scream come through the box. Yeah, we could take her though.
Oh, I mean, we could take any of them. I think once we get.
And if you want to
we'll
take
cross
her
that
though,
bridge
that's cool. We could film her coming out of the case and being strapped into the vehicle.
I think we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it, you know?
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. You got anything else?
Aside from, I mean, man, I've just been cleaning. It doesn't look like it, but I've been cleaning everywhere else.
And again, props to Troy for the help on the redesign of the office. Or I should say the studio. It's not really an office, but you know.
I call it the command center, but you know, take it for what you will. Thanks, but it aside from the unfortunate you can't really see any of it. We did a pretty good job covering it up, but all the tears in the walls.
Yeah. Well, that's because I had shelves up there and we had to rip them off and it took off some of the paint, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is there anything else you're adding to the command center in the near future?
Well, the new sign for the door is coming today.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that'll be going up. And actually, I ordered 2 because I'm going to put one on the inside as well so it can be seen on cam.
Well, that has our disclaimer on it, right? So that'll be good for.
So there'll be one on the outside and one on the inside. And then no, once I get the rest of the studio cleared out, there'll be a lot more getting added. Some bigger pieces like I think I told you about that old wheelchair that I found at that shop.
Yep.
I'd like to kind of put that off in the corner over here. So my thought process is once I clear the rest of this out, I think this corner back over here, I'm going to dedicate as like a kind of like an asylum corner. So I think that old wheelchair and maybe some items from asylums and sanitariums and stuff I'll put in that corner. So yeah, I have some ideas, but not until I get the rest of it cleared out. So for right now, what you see is what we've got. I do have those other sconces that need to get put up, the red sconces, but outside of that, I'm not looking at any more dolls at this moment because you can see we're pretty full up.
Yeah, you really don't have space.
And it just said what? And with the mix that we have here of positive and negative and demonic, I think, yeah, I think we'll roll with these for a while, and then if things stay under control, then maybe I'll look at adding some more.
Well, I
But,
think it
and
won't
there's
hurt
the
to
bell.
work individually with the dolls that are already there too.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. We haven't done much work or any work really with some of these dolls, so I want to do that before we start trying to add more to the mix. The
Yeah.
only dolls that we've worked with back here really are the ones that we worked with during the Halloween live. All the new ones we haven't done any individual work with. I mean, I did with Leon briefly, but all these other ones, yeah, we need to sit down and really do some one-on-one work with them and see what they are, any history that they have, and then maybe we'll look at adding some more to the mix. But right now, and I still got to get a containment cabinet for Teddy because, yeah, he shouldn't be just sitting out. But right now, I don't have an option. And he's slowly been leaning himself forward. If you can see his head's kind of pointed down. He wasn't
Yep.
like that when we first put him up there. So, yeah, I don't know.
What's that?
Sounded like it said something about on the block or something. I don't know, dude. So anyway, yeah, a lot of interesting things in this studio. Um, just a vibe, you know what I mean? When you come in here, the energy shifts. So, of course, when I come in here in the mornings, I say hello and good morning. And when I leave for the day, I tell them goodbye and I'll see them later. So I'm just trying to keep them appeased. It's
Well, it seems like it's
because,
working out pretty well so far.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, like I said, I had those two occurrences, but nothing that was like, nothing felt negative. Yeah, nothing felt like crazy, like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but, yeah, um, so we don't have any investigations in June or July, and I don't know yet if we're going to try to do something in August. We'll have to see, but I think June, July, and August we're probably going to spend our time editing the investigations that we've done and working on the merch store and the Patreon.
Well, the Patreon's going to come with its own set of editing too, so
Exactly, which is
I
going
think
to
having some
be,
time away from the investigations is going to help us get all that set.
yeah, and that's going to be, even more work. But um yeah, outside of that, I can't really think of anything too much. I mean, nobody's really popping in the chat to ask any questions or anything like that. So, um, I don't know, some weird stuff coming through there.
Yeah. I mean, we're at about the 40-minute mark. I think that's reasonable. The dolls are kind of doing things here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah, they've done a little bit. So, and like I said, I only put all the equipment on just because we were going to be live. I figured why
Right.
not.
Yeah. They're just kind of,
Um,
they are there.
yeah. And, you know, now something we may do the next couple months while we're not investigating is we may take some of that time and work with these guys individually.
Yeah, I think
And
that's the move.
oh, something just laughed at us. It came across and went, ha, ha, ha. So anyway.
I wonder which one.
I don't know. I mean, Leon today seems to be pretty active.
Right.
But then again, the one in the wooden case, the small one, she's been pretty active too. So, but yeah. So with that, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and end this one. So everybody keep your eye on the channel. There's some good stuff coming. And I think everybody's going to be excited for what we're doing in October, and we'll discuss that in more detail later on.
As we get closer.
And yeah, so with that, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share the channel with your friends. And you know, keep your eye out, because these dolls, I let them go live periodically. So when you see them live, jump in there and see if there's anything going on. Because when they go live, we leave them unattended unless we're working with them. And there's the bell. See, as soon as I mention the dolls, the bell again. So, but yeah, keep your eyes open on the channel. When these guys go live, they're unattended. I leave them in here by themselves, and you know, there's no telling what they might do. So
yeah, sometimes they get up to actual stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know the other day when I put them live, you messaged me. You're like, dude, stuff's happening.
Yeah, stuff was actually happening.
So, but with that, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for joining us today. And Troy, you got anything before we go?
You already covered all the like, comment, subscribe. So I will just say follow us on all your favorite social medias. We're just about everywhere you can think of. So yeah, that's about all I got. That was my shameless plug.
All right, guys. So with that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.